I'm an earthworm woman. In the mornings, I fill my tanks by breathing the energy of the sea and tasting the power of the sun penetrating my skin. There's an air of no care, which comes with age, and I hold my head up proudly, liking who I've become. I'm not afraid of smells, or dirt, or to walk barefoot across the stones. Sometimes I wade through the shallow water just to embrace its fluid element, my hair often crazy and loose, being pulled by and flying in the wind. I can be glamorous if I want to, although makeup was never my thing. And I've learnt that life is for living, not fearing, and so I absorb it like a sponge. Okay, good morning, grand rising. I've just washed my hair, so it's still wet. That's very exciting, isn't it? Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Earthworm Woman. I have a guest today who I literally met through somebody that I met in the streets where I live. I met this one woman, Denise, who came to see one of the plays, and then I always see Denise. It's like I almost see her every day. I think I'm supposed to see her. Anyway, and then one day she was with her friend, Siba, and we started talking, and we couldn't really stop talking. And I said, okay, you've got to come on my Earthworm Woman, because obviously what she was talking about sort of was connecting up with all the kinds of things. This specifically, I guess today will be more about women. Anyway, I'm just going to bring her in because that way she can tell me who she is. So there's Siba. Where are you from, Siba? You said you're Middle East, your background. What's
Syrian. I was born in Syria.
Syria?
Oh, wow. Middle East, yeah.
Wow. Gosh, you don't meet many people from Syria, really, do? Well, you probably do, but
I think it will be more common as time goes on.
Mm.
After the war and refugees and all that kind of stuff. So there's more of it. When we migrated as a family in the 80s, no, there was no Syrians at all.
Yeah.
After the war and everything, you'll see more of that come through.
Wow. So we met in a park, as you do, and you tell me what you call yourself. You haven't got your name up there. You're a counsellor and all the things that you do.
Yeah. So now I'm just doing full-time counselling in private practice, but I've worked with people in the community, non-for-profit sector. I'm in various therapeutic roles and programs for the past almost 20 years. So I started a long time ago in my 20s. And in the social justice community sector, there's a lot of therapeutic work you do. So my background is a counsellor, but you do a lot of social work and social advocacy and a lot of therapy as well as advocacy. So you're looking at the systemic lens as well as the individual psychological, therapeutic lens. I'm mindful not to go on too much because I'm sure I can answer.
No. That's what it's about. It's a discussion. So I think there were some things I wanted to kind of talk. Well, up to you what we talk about. When you say the social, were you working in prisons and things like that? Were you meaning, or just?
That's a really good. Yeah, I've navigated like a lot of different sectors in this field. So I worked with traumatized homeless youth for quite some time. And so the system there would be, leaving care, like child protection, foster care, child protection, leaving, I think it's called youth justice. So that is prison, that's youth prison. Different roles in that kind of space. Adult mental health, there was a time there when people are separating, so the family law space. And most recently, the last 9 plus years, I'm still working in this, is gendered violence. So family violence, sexual assault. Nowadays, because of the kind of broadening of sexuality and LGBTQI and our understanding, when I first started, it was very much the the heteronormative lens on family violence. Now, obviously, as we've progressed and understood more, family violence encompasses anyone can be a victim survivor, any type of relationship is involved, whether it's binary, non-binary, inclusive LGBTQI relationships, so same-sex relationships, all of that. But
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, both
complex.
have different ways of talking about this, but I would say sexes both have. There's violence, there's trauma, there's all that stuff within that. Someone's here from Bangalore. I don't know where Bangalore is. Good morning. But so that word trauma, that's a really huge thing. And I'm just going to talk about men and women, if that's all right, at the moment. Because I think, would you say, first of all, that women hold trauma? And I don't normally do questions. It's not really an interview. What's that strange sound? Anyway, did you hear that? But do you think that women have a way of holding on to trauma that is different to men? I mean, they might hold it from childhood, or they might hold it on from a relationship, and actually it just sits there all the time. But do you think that they have a different way?
That's a really beautiful question. I love the question. This just, I'm going to say something maybe a little bit out there, but I feel like women suffer a lot of trauma because they are women, and it starts at a very young age and accumulates over a lifetime, childhood. So most of victim survivors I've worked with, I'm just going to use the gendered lens for now, I won't include everybody, but just for now, we're just honing on that. Usually when someone is referred to me and, something's happened to them in their adult life, we always explore their past. And most of the time, 90% of the time, trauma has started in their childhood, whether it was from their family of origin, whether it was what happened at school, whether it was something in their early relationships, and the layers start. So it could be something with mum and dad. Mum, was abusive to my victim survivor. Dad, a brother, a sister, and it flows into adulthood. Obviously, we can go on and on about that. So I think women carry a lot of layers of trauma, just like how a person of color, a black man, would hold way more trauma than a white man. A black woman would hold a lot more trauma, again, than other people in life. So I'm talking about something we call the intersectional lens. We use that in social work a lot.
Can I ask about that, what you just said? I mean, I don't know anything about it, obviously, but is that because of racism going way, way back? Is that why they would? Or?
Discrimination, marginalization, yes. So it's a very commonly well-known theory created by a black academic woman in America. Sorry, I'm not quoting her name or the theory that well. You can look it up. You can just look it up. Feminist intersectional lens. All it means is that we are valued in society by a certain structure, and on top of that structure, let's say it's a pyramid, we have white heteronormative men, wealthy white, upper class white men, and it just goes down and down. So someone who's white and disabled is valued lower. Someone who's lower economic status is valued lower. A female lower compared to a male. A black man lower compared to a white man. So there's disability, there's race, there's gender, there's sexuality, there's class, all mixed in. So it's how we value people in society and how we marginalize or other people in society. So women have been othered for many, 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 many centuries earlier, as an example.
I mean, you might, things. I believe things change and are changing. Oh, he needs to. Just a second.
They sure are. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
sure are.
changing. So I would prefer, because I've probably got quite different views on some of the things that I know you come from the therapy thing, and some, not about views, but the way you talk about people. So I'm just going to concentrate maybe on things that people hold on to and how they work through it, because that really interests me. So just going back to the trauma thing, because I know once you connect up something, like you said, with a past, it can undo all kinds of things that you didn't even know were there,
Yeah. Yes.
So how often do you think women actually find that and can move through it? I'm not Simon O'Rourke. I'm actually, we've got a few different. That's fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
No problem. People can move through trauma. Absolutely, they can. And trauma can be very destructive, but it also can be very transformative.
Mm-hmm.
So you can absolutely work through trauma. And, people always say, am I going to be who I was before the trauma? That's sort of something therapists get that question all the time. And most of us will say, we can't guarantee that, but we can guarantee you can find greater meaning and a new version of you is going to emerge.
Yeah.
When you process and integrate and find meaning to the trauma, attach meaning. So a big part of trauma theory or trauma recovery theory is to find meaning through that trauma, and something that's called post-traumatic growth. So there's, everyone talks about PTSD as the condition, the diagnosis, which is very real and it happens and it's real and we're not minimizing that. There's also a theory of post-traumatic growth. Absolutely can move through it. And some people engage therapy to do that. Some people engage the arts to do that, as you would know. Some people engage spiritual practice, community. We can go on and on. There's many things that are therapeutic that can help us integrate, find a new version of ourselves, move through the trauma, release it,
or find yourself that was always there.
Sure.
That was covered up with or changed because of situations or whatever you went through. Yeah.
Reconnect with the sense of self and identity and autonomy. Yeah, it's a complex dance. It's a really complex dance. It's not something that happens overnight, is the main message there. But there's many ways, there's many avenues that are therapeutic and you can move through trauma. A lot of different things. So what's therapeutic for one person is different for another. But what we talked about, nature, therapy, spirituality, arts are very commonly used ones, or community, all those things.
I mean, I've been through myself different things. I suppose I wouldn't. My upbringing was a bit strange and everything. My parents were. It's very hard to put the word abusive on them but they were. But it was sort of. It was that thing where it was always behind. No one really knew, and you couldn't put your finger on it particularly. So I'd say that really influenced the way I was as a child and then into a teenager. And I was incredibly shy, but then I really always wanted to do this, not this, but what I do creatively, like performing. And I think a lot of that's really interesting because a lot of actors and everything are very shy or can be. So it's their way of expressing, like you said, or maybe it's not, because you're not being yourself anyway. You're being someone else. I found that
it's an identity, it's permission. I mean, you as an artist would know a lot more about that than me, but it's like a persona you can wear comfortably and parts of you can shine through. But I obviously don't have the expertise on that at all.
Oh no, it just makes you find, I think for myself, it just made me, I guess, unshy, because I mean, I still might be a little bit shy, but just more confident to act. The older I get, I do notice anyway, I've just more and more confident in who I am. And the last few years especially, I've just been through huge changes, and more within that found back to who I am, and now I just think, oh my God, there's no point wasting time with any kind of. You just got to be who you are and put your belief systems out there. That's what I think now.
That's the grace of aging.
Yeah.
We mature, we let go of a lot of insecurities. I hear you. Yeah, I definitely relate to that. Did we answer that question that you were sitting with? Like, do women hold trauma differently?
Oh, no, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Just make
anything
sure.
else? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Do you think, or them, let's say for men, do you think that they hold it or understand it or in the same way that women? I'm not saying that everybody's exactly the same. Obviously, we're
Yeah.
not. We're all
I know.
completely different
Yeah.
humans. But some people never look. Well, let's go people. Some people never look at what makes them say if they've repeat the same thing wrong, or they they make the same mistakes. Some people never look at it and go, maybe there is something I have to look at within myself that could change.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's not a question.
Generalizations. Yeah, this is a big disclaimer. I'm just going to disclaim a big generalization here. Most who we see access therapy, I can only talk about from the therapeutic lens, is mostly women, young or older women, and everyone carries trauma. Absolutely, men and women all carry trauma, but who accesses therapy to unpack it? Mostly women. So when you look at a caseload, I have some males in my caseload, but far majority are people in women bodies. So yeah, trauma sits in the body and manifests in both for anyone, gender, not gender. It's not about that. Absolutely, and trauma has very similar impacts, no matter who you are. Whether you unpack it and look at it and process it,
But can I just, for 2 seconds, just hold that thought? Sorry, because Simon's kind of said something, what you're saying there anyway. Men carry just as much trauma as women. The only difference is men don't talk about it. And if they do, nobody listens or cares unless they're being paid to. This notion that a Black woman carries more trauma by default simply because of category proves my point. I'm not sure about that. But
yeah.
So, yeah, sorry. Hopefully you haven't lost your train of thought there.
No, yes, that is right. A lot of men don't access therapy and don't talk about it, and that is a big difference. Women are socially conditioned to talk about it, access support, speak to their community and their peers, even if they never enter paid therapy per se. Women do talk about it to other women, to their peers, their friends. Whether that's processing it out or just talking about it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the social conditioning has done a really good job of silencing men, which is really sad. I would love to see more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'd love to see that unconditioning kind of unravel, but the
Well,
world is
that's why,
changing.
yeah, I'm doing the suicide piece, which is now making a film. And of course, the statistics are women attempt it more than men, but men are more successful.
Right.
Which means women is more of a cry for help, perhaps, and maybe then go on to get help. Who knows? But men, it's awful. That's why Maroon that I'm doing is all about talking. That's the whole thing, because men have to talk, and there are so many organizations and charities and things and groups set up now specifically for men to talk.
Yep. Yeah, there are. Yep.
But I wonder why, if they're helping or they're not helping,
Sure. I think it'd be great to hear from males, great to hear from male therapists on this. I mean, obviously, they would hold a lot more wisdom there.
Yeah, of course. I spoke to, this is not really connected with this talking because it's, so there's now that I'm doing this, people are approaching me. Here we go, Jason. Men are being portrayed as a victim we take responsibility of our own trauma. Men hate being portrayed as a victim, But is it a victim? I mean, I guess we're all victims at some point.
Well, if we've
And
been abused, we've been victimized. Doesn't mean we have to sit in that forever.
yeah, abused, or I mean, it can be a victim in a different, a less dramatic way, I suppose, as well. But I guess it depends how you deal with it, or how you, like you said, sit with it. Do you go, I'm just always, do you victimize yourself constantly, or you're allowed to actually just put it out there, Jason? Doesn't mean that you're less of a human for that, does it?
I find the younger generation males are accessing therapy more. I think that's something I'm noticing. So younger males, I'm talking about under 30, in their teens and 20s, are more likely to come and wanting to work on things, whatever said thing. I grew up with this. I'm noticing it's impacting my relationships. I want to work through it. And that I am noticing, and that's really beautiful. And I think obviously some health promotion is working there. I think younger generations have access to so much more information than generations over 40, over 50, over 60, over 70. There's, social media has done a good job in that department. So I am seeing a lot of that, and that's really, really beautiful. And that encourages, I think, what's helpful for one person is helpful for everyone. And there's some things that are universal. So talking about it, we know helps to process it out. That's a universal thing. Whether it's seeing a therapist or something more alternative, doesn't matter. That's fine.
Did you say social media has done a good thing as far as communication?
I think the younger generations are more aware of mental health, of trauma, of suicide rates, of a lot of things that are impacting us. The younger generation, I'm talking about people under, like well and truly under 30, they're more aware of what is neurodivergence, what's mental health, what is depression, what is anxiety, what's PTSD. So they're more aware, and they talking about it a lot more within their peers and accessing support more.
I have to say, they may be more aware, but I kind of disagree that it's a good thing, because I see a lot of younger people getting very caught up in, I must have something, and they're almost looking, instead of just going, hey, it's a part of your personality. That's what I think. I think personalities have got a bit, the lines have gone very blurred to, I actually have a disorder, or I've got a problem, or whatever. And I think that personally, I think so much social media, and at the same time, I don't agree with the fact that they're trying to get rid of the under 16 or whatever. It can be a bad thing because of some of the things I've been accessing. But I do think too much social media, and I do see it in my own kids. So I suppose that's where I see it being a problem. It very, very much limits things. I believe you've got to get back out in the world and see.
Of course. Yeah. I 100%, I didn't grow up with it. I 100% relate to what you're saying. What I was referring to is that there's a source of information that is out there on the internet that was not out there. Couple like Gen Z, different generations that didn't have that information, didn't have access to information. So yes, obviously the internet brings wonders and connectivity, but also brings a lot of, darkness and shadow and aspects like cyberbullying. And I mean, we can go down rabbit holes, but yeah, absolutely. There's over-identification of labels is also, I hear you. I see that in manifestations in different generations. I guess I was just simply saying that there's more information out there.
Yeah, there's definitely
normalization.
That. And if it's a healthy thing, I'm sure there's groups of things like where they can go and have find discussions, and has brought the world together in that way. But there's a fine line how good it can be for everyone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but no, I meant connecting naturally is definitely sounding old.
I was going to say, this guy young men are feminized by society. That's why they're presenting for therapy. It's a man's genetic lot to suffer and sacrifice for man's genetic lot to suffer and sacrifice. I'm not sure I agree with that one. Anyway, this is an open discussion for everything.
Yeah, it's
I
good.
do agree with the first comment there. I do believe that's happening to a huge degree. I was just going to say this man, Wayne Holdsworth, who I contacted him because I've been looking for gyms to see if they might want to be connected to Marooned. And this poor guy, his 16-year-old took his life. And it was through an online situation where he was sexually, what's the word?
Groomed?
You know, he was talking to someone who was not who they said they were. And he asked him to send a photo, and he did that, and then asked for money. And if you don't do this, you need more money.
Yeah.
Who gets in the lifeboats first? Okay, get it. Yeah. And his 16-year-old, yeah. So that's an example of how on earth he got involved with that one. You know, I guess it could be that Snapchat or
yeah. There's a lot of predators using forms. Yeah, awful. Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
who's Nima Michelle would love your number. I'll get your number whether you want to put it out now or after.
Maybe. Yeah, not a problem.
Do you do it in person and online, or I don't know
Yep.
where she is? Yeah.
Definitely both. Yes, definitely both. Yeah.
So I think when I was talking to you, you were talking. Were you saying, I can't remember which way you were saying you deal with more the younger people, and then the parents always say, or the mothers often want to see you, or is it the other way around?
Oh, I see a cross section of
Yes.
society. I see, anywhere from teenagers to over 60s. So I get a whole lot. Obviously, when you're dealing with someone under 18, parents want to be involved, which is absolutely normal, common. But yeah, if I'm working with a victim survivor, male or female, sometimes their children because they hear from their parents getting results. The young person may want to attend therapy if that's what you mean. That can happen, but we have to negotiate the boundaries and if that's okay and all of those things.
Just on that actually age thing, because
Yes.
there's been a lot of questions about what over the last few years about what people are allowed to do or without the parents' permission. Do you find that there isn't, like, there are young people who go, I just want to keep this away from my parents, and is there an age where you have to involve them? I mean, I guess if they're not going to be like 13 coming to you, are they?
Yeah. So obviously, I don't deal with children. I think that would be very different under 12. Over 12, just my anecdotal experiences, I find teenagers, do want to ask me, are you going to say everything to my parents if they do a meet and greet? That is a big question that they're very keen on knowing. And they do want, they don't want everything spoken about. And that's, so we have, every therapist is slightly different in this component. And it's about negotiating that with the parents and the teenager of what can I say, what can I not say? If there's something that's, harming them, mentally, emotionally, physically, et cetera, then there may be a duty of care to notify their caregivers, their parents and caregivers. So you just have to negotiate that, quite clearly before you commence therapy. But if it's not, so that's sort of like a threshold. If it's underneath that threshold, mostly what I find teenagers want the autonomy and privacy because they want to sometimes talk about their parents and it's part of their trauma unpacking or their
absolutely. I mean, because we can create the problems 100%. And I know myself, I think I was talking to you, I said I've got shame around how things I've done that my kids have had to experience, but at least I recognize it and I take responsibility, and there's nothing I can do. I can't go back and change it.
No.
But I'm not talking I've abused them, but I put them in situations where I've kept them in situations where I probably should have
I just want to say parenting, this is my disclaimer, and I say this to every person I work with, whether they're a young person talking about their parents, whether it's a parent talking about their parenting and criticizing themselves. Parenting is really hard. It is, there's no manual for it. It is really hard, and it's getting harder, not easier. With all these outside influences, like you mentioned perfectly earlier about the social media influences that are so harmful and toxic. We're parenting in an era where there's so much more than just what's going on in the family home. There's a whole lot going outside that young people are connected to. So parenting is really, really hard. And there's no manual for it. And every child you have is going to be very, very different. And it's no one at fault. It's not, young person's not at fault, parents not at fault. We're doing the best we can. Obviously, I'm not talking about abusive situations. Take that out of the equation. Them. Talking about the average parent who's trying their best. We're never going to get it right 100% of the time. And a young person, it's a part of their journey to understand as they get older that
as they get older,
as they get older, over 18, over 18, that, you know, my parents did a lot that I didn't like. They did a lot that I liked, and it's really, you know, it's hard for both of us. It's complicated is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and often people repeat without even realizing it what their parents did.
That's some, yes. Or they a reaction to what their parents did.
Yeah. I mean, or aversion perhaps.
Yeah. A lot of people will say, I grew up with authoritarian parenting, different generation, different cultural background, whatever. And they said, I don't want to do that. I want to do the opposite to that. So they kind of counter that and can maybe go the other extreme, and maybe boundaries are a struggle for them. So it's really, really complicated. Obviously, we're talking in generalizations. What is helpful about therapy is that you can hone in on the person you're with and look at their family of origin, look what they learned from what they grew up with, and how is that? How are they showing up as a parent, or how are they showing up as a partner or a human being? So we can't. We're not going into details right now because there's. No, we're not.
Generational, breaking the generational trauma or pattern.
Hard work.
That's what I'm hoping is with, you know, I don't really know about my grandparents. I think there was a lot of strange things there with my mother's side. You know, like my mother was Jewish, and my parents became Muslims. But my dad never embraced the fact that my mother was Jewish, never accepted it or something. But apparently that was the same thing with her father, who wasn't Jewish. So she accepted that she'd experienced in her family, which is really interesting. I mean,
that's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, that's extremely.
And so it stopped in our. I mean, you know, it's a racy thing, but there was nothing. There was nothing, and then they went and became Muslims. It's like, huh? Which yeah, I'm not either of. You know, I don't practice that at all. But that's where I've got my name from.
Oh, beautiful! Yes, I don't know much about your cultural heritage. It's really complicated, and maybe there was influences beyond our understanding.
Oh yeah, it was to do with the spiritual, but the Muslim thing was to do with the spiritual hood that they were in, a practice, where a lot of people became Muslims. But yeah,
wow, there you go.
But with my thing, it's different, and I know, and I'm hoping that this is kind of that I've cleared some, well, not myself even, but there's a clearing now. I think a lot of people are doing a lot of clearing. It's a clearing time, you know, that whole year of the snake. I don't know if you're into that stuff, which clearing out for this new year coming up.
Yes, I do. I'm curious about, I do tap into kind of collective energies, what's happening, whether it's astrological or energetic changes. Yeah, I do think people do want to improve themselves, do want to look at aspects of themselves that they've never looked at. People are more curious. I think that's happening in general and collectively, whether we look at that through astrologically or, you know, other means. Yeah, no, I do think people are interested. And maybe just a question to you, how has trauma sat with you? How has it influenced you? What are you doing with it? How's it moved through you? Just what's your experience? If you feel comfortable.
No. Probably just in not allowing myself to be myself, not really fully being me, being a version of me, and not being not standing up for myself. So I've come from a family of 6. I'm the second one. My older sister is a few years older, and she, so that's, I think the first one's always the trial. They test the boundaries, and where okay, you can't go there, you can't go there. If you do that, you're told you're this, and so I think subconsciously I learned to be the good one.
Right. Yes.
So I was always good, and didn't very like ridiculously shy as a baby. I would cry if people even talked to me, and but yeah, so I think probably through my whole younger period, I didn't really know how to be me properly.
Yeah.
I thought really stupid things. I was very interested in, I really loved contemporary dance. And that was me for a long time. I used to go into somewhere we used to live, I can't remember now, but I used to go into halls and just go and dance for hours on end. When I went back to London for the second, well, I'm from London, but we've lived blah, blah, blah. And I was 23, I think. Yeah, 23. And I thought I was too old to go to a dance school. So this whole no idea of really who you are. And then I tried. So I'm going off track of your question, but anyway, I tried out. I was trying to get into drama schools. I thought I'd do that for a bit, and still, I was only that age. And one of my pieces I did from Romeo and Juliet. And so instead of going for Juliet, doing a piece from her, I did the nurse breaking a bread. Like, that's where I saw myself. I just had no concept really of who I was for a very long time, which is about worth. So I guess the trauma, embedded itself in my worth, my self-worth. And I went down the eating disorders line and all of those things, which is all to do with trying to be seen because you're trying to be liked, but you're also trying to almost doing the opposite with that. Anyway, so I guess my growing up trauma would have come in that. And then in relationships and things, again, just not really having the I don't know if it's the word confidence there, but I suppose just not being able to fully be Rahana and go, yeah, this is me. And if you don't like it, whatever, now I'm just happy in myself. And it's taken me a long time to get here. And I look back and I think, oh God, what a waste really, that I wasn't able to fully be me, because it could have changed a lot of things. So I don't know if that's, I think I don't want to go into specifics, but trauma in different relationships would have also pushed that down as well, pushed me from being able to fully be myself. But now I'm in a good space. So.
It sounds like art was a big part of your journey. You could take on, kind of experiment different roles, open up, move, dance.
I've never done anything else. I've always, ever since I finished school, I went to an alternative school in America actually, and when I finished school, I just kept doing it, whichever way. Yeah. So hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no. Did you gain more confidence once you had children, Rahana, having to be less self-conscious and less caught up in what others think of you because protection, I don't think self-conscious was ever my thing. No, because I was, I did do acting from my 20s and everything, but I wasn't self-conscious. No, I just went into a different role when I had my kids and probably put everything there. So what were you going to ask me?
Oh no, I was just observing how art. I was like, for me, I was like, was art the biggest kind of outlet and therapeutic element for you, or how did you like? What was therapeutic for you? It sounded like it was art, but I wanted to ask.
It wasn't necessarily therapeutic because all those times I don't feel like when I was by myself in England, I suppose. Could say it was a kind of therapist, but it was just what I did, and I always did it. But I can't say I was necessarily happy a lot of the time. I was I just did it, Yeah, there was periods when I was in London when I was very depressed, and you just kind of carried on, and and I don't know what that was about, whether it was connected with. I'm getting a therapy session now. No, I don't know if it was connected. No. I don't know if it was connected to. If I can't say it, open up. Well, I don't know if it was connected to the fact that I wasn't fully being me, wasn't fully being me. I'm not saying I was always depressed, but there was periods in there where I was.
And I think that's just a part of living. We're meant to feel every emotion under the spectrum, and we're not meant to be just positive AI robots. So I think life is hard. Old ethnics. I grew up listening to old ethnics, including my parents and family, saying life is hard, and it can be, and it is challenging, and it's also very, very beautiful. And it's a mix of everything.
Well, you know what? A certain person I know can put on a really big smile, but underneath, I know what's going on in there. And I think I probably did that in the same way there, just like, carried on, but underneath it, I wasn't fully working, there was a lot of loneliness or whatever.
Yeah. Carl Jung calls it the process of individuation. And what Carl Jung was talking about is, we've all got a persona, professional persona. Every human has it. We all do it. I have it. And that's what we present. The persona is what we present to the world. It's also a very protective mechanism and a survival, self-preservation mechanism. So we're not saying get rid of your persona. No one, you can't carry everything with you all the time.
Yeah.
But if you live in your persona all the time, then you lose touch of that, that you feel lonely, like, who am I? What's my essence? So Carl Jung talked about it as a process of individuating. And he talked about it that in the way that you'll be doing that for the rest of your life. So we know most people know pop culture is you do that as a teenager, you individuate out of your family structure, you're pushing boundaries, you're rebelling. Of course, we do that as an adolescent and an early adult. But Carl Jung believed you individuate for the rest of your life. So come closer to showing who you are, more on the outside. Who am I? Exploring, and it changes over time. You're going to evolve with that. So that's I'm just sort of that's what I sense.
That's right.
And that's a collective experience. Everyone goes through that. That's very collective. It's not, specialized, not specific to one person or one gender or one identity or one culture. We're all, in the process of individuating, and it's a really hard. What he talked about is that it's really hard to go against your conditioning, whether it's from the family or community or country you're from, and find who you are, because you're sort of pushing against social norms, collective norms, group norms, or the identity people are used to you having and are comfortable.
Victoria says that's me at this time. So is that a good thing, Victoria, or a bad thing? Are you saying that you're continually pushing against, which is what I'm sort of talking about as well, to be yourself? Yeah. I mean, you do, I won't say who it is, but you do meet older I know someone that was in their 80s, probably late 80s then, who actually said the line, "My life is a sham," and
Oh,
they'd actually lived
yeah.
knowing that this was something they weren't living true to themselves for, and that's what it is, isn't it? Really, living
Mm,
true to yourself.
mm,
And the earlier you can find that, the earlier you can get rid of any baggage that's holding you back, or
mm.
trauma that's holding you back, and actually, the more interesting and more refreshing or open your life will be.
Yeah, that's ideal. That's yes, in ideal
Yeah.
scenario. And that over 80-year-old individual, my brain thinks, when they were a teenager, when they were in their 20s, this it would have been seen as selfish to like, I want to go after what I want to go after. I want to know who I am. It's good to see people in their context, if that makes sense. Their
Yeah.
generational context. Like, I think that's really humanizing and understanding the pressures they were under.
There we go. Yeah. So Victoria, lives with her
Mm,
mum, or her mum lives with her, and it does limit who you are. It kind of doesn't limit who you are, but it gives you've got a huge job there. And like, my
100%.
dad died last year, and he didn't live with me, but because I'm the only one in Melbourne, I had the responsibility. So I
Absolutely.
felt that. I felt that wasn't a weight to go, but when he went, it was a relief. I mean,
Yeah.
he was very old anyway and had pretty bad dementia, but it was a relief because, okay, I don't have to do that duty anymore. And
Caring is very intense. It's full on, absolutely. And being a carer, absolutely. There's many things that limit us. That's exactly what Carl Jung talked about. And as a therapist and as a human being, many things limit us from actualizing that, actualizing ourselves. And whether we're parents, or being a parent is also very challenging. Being a carer, obviously we need to get up and work and, earn money, pay bills. All of these things are forces in everyday living that are going to, limit our capacity. And that's okay. That's a part of life. We're not trying to eliminate any of these things. But yeah, being a carer is really intense, and it's sometimes hard to even just access self-care.
That's right. But having your mum with you, I'd imagine you do have to really make sure you take time for yourself, and even have days off if you can.
You can, yes.
Some people have their nose up in the air and walk around with a stick in their mouth hole. It would be hard to get yourself like that. Huh?
Yeah, no comments. I don't know
Well,
what that
I
means.
don't know what that means. I suppose you're talking like some people just don't really. They can get to the end of their life, or they can get well into their lives and not really seeing, or because they've actually think they've worked it all out, because we've never all worked it out. There's always more to learn and discover, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. What are you working? Yeah, absolutely. The cosmos is vast and large, and no, that's never the aim of anything in life, in my
How did
opinion.
you found Denise in just by chance as well, did you?
No, I've known her for a really long time.
Oh,
Yeah,
no, that's right.
we've been friends for like over a decade. Yes,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
what I was going to say about off the topic completely, the
Okay.
area we live in, people meet each other very organically, and it's not uncommon that people just. I do walks. Walking is my meditation. I love walking.
Same. Yes.
I'm a walker, and in the suburb we live in, people walk and you see the same people. And I've just met beautiful, interesting souls by my daily rituals. I think rituals are really important for
I do
life.
the same. Yeah, I have the
Yeah.
same.
And so
Yeah.
I would make fun out of Denise and say, I've known her for 10 plus years. We walk often, but I say, you're the, every time I hang out with you, everyone knows you. Like, people will just come up and talk to her. She's the OG of the suburb. But walking just this particular suburb we live in, I love it. There's a sense of community. I've lived in Melbourne for many, many years, and I've lived surrounding the inner south for many, many years. But I've noticed in this particular suburb, just going, putting my feet in the water, just people will smile and talk to you, and then you end up seeing the same faces in a conversation. I've met a lot of people organically like that, and I
Same.
love that.
Same.
I love
I
that.
have met. Yeah.
Love that.
whether they've got the same views as you, whether they've got completely different political agendas as you.
Yeah,
I'm the same, and I've only moved over here in the last 3 years.
right.
It also helps when you have dogs.
Yes, dogs. And Denise moved over to the same part. She said the same, and she would say to me, "Oh, everyone talks and everyone's friendly," and I think that's beautiful, and I think that's these things help from isolation, loneliness, and mental health, and all that other stuff we're talking about. Community is so important. Community doesn't just mean the religion I come from or my work community or any of that. You know, it can mean those things. Or art. Sometimes community just means who's in your village, like that village mentality.
Yeah.
Old school.
Who what did you say? She was an OG. What does that mean?
Original,
OG.
just like the
Oh,
original.
okay. So, because she's very
Right?
quiet. It's interesting because she's a very quiet person. I can't even remember how I started talking to her.
She is, but she is also will go up and talk to anyone and ask questions to anyone. Doesn't matter who they are. I love that about her.
So,
Yes.
definitely be in nature as much as possible, grounding it for you. Ask yourself what your values are, follow what your passions and dreams are, be with those who hold the same values, and encourage you to grow and thrive. He will guide you your whole life with less conflict.
Yep.
So,
So what's
yeah, no,
therapeutic?
as you can see,
Is
my woman at the beginning is all about walking. Yeah.
what's therapeutic is all of those things that that we just commented on: nature, connecting to people, finding your tribe and connecting to your tribe or community, art, all these things, spiritual practice, you know, your daily rituals. All right, I'm going to get up and go for a walk. These are just, you know, putting all these together. To me, that's self-care. That's good mental health. That's channeling and processing, releasing trauma. You know, all these little things add up to help us connect with who we are, find that confidence, autonomy, whatever it is. You know,
And if people are meant to come in your life and talk to you, I find that's what happens. There's because there's a tons of people out on the beach and in the walking in the morning is more and more. And of course, not everybody, but certain times, certain people.
Serendipity, synchronicities are my favorite little thing to notice.
Yeah.
The flow of life. Now we're getting into like a philosophical conversation, but yes, that to me is my daily magic. That's that's
I'm
daily
exactly
magic.
the same. And before, before I had dogs, I always walked anyway. But now, wherever I've lived, it's like just find somewhere which is nature. I lived in Coburg before, and it was that Merry Creek or
Creek.
something, all around there, and now
Beautiful.
it's just on the beach. And you go where there's no one. And lots of people have got those things in their ears now, so they can't hear. So I just put my headphones in, and I'm kind of singing and dancing around in the
But that's beautiful. Yeah. And I love, I'm completely biased. I love the beach. I think there's just a healing element. Nature is beautiful. Any type of nature is beautiful, and we're lucky also in Melbourne. There's a lot of parks and nature everywhere, accessible to everyone.
Just one thing on the connecting, whatever.
Yeah,
But I did go to the festival this weekend, and I didn't go very much last year, but I thought I was very surprised. I just thought it just feels very big community, Melbourne community. I didn't see any violence. I didn't see any bad shit. I didn't see any drunk, whatever. And people were just really nice. And I do think those sort of things, I hope to God they don't get rid of things like that, because they're very, very important to bring all walks of life together.
Absolutely. Festivals. And again, maybe I sound like I'm promoting Melbourne. I'm not. Sorry, I sound awful.
Promote yourself.
Promoting Melbourne. We do have a lot of different events and art events and festivals that go on like every weekend, especially certain seasons, winter. There is a lot of that, and that is to bring everyone from different parts of the greater community.
Just remind me what your healing practice is called. I did put it in the little thing around this, but I'm going to put it in the comments.
Sure, heart-centered counselling. Yeah, that's my counselling practice.
Yeah. Hell. And how do people contact you?
Email. I'll provide email address. You can just contact me directly. That's the easiest way.
Yeah, because you know what? The word counselling, there's so many different spellings.
I know.
So
I'll put it later. Yeah. Well, I know, and then you have to create a different spelling.
I'll put your email address in here now if you like.
Sure, go for it.
If you want it out.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's the easiest way. And nature is my biggest healer. Yeah, I was just Suzanne said that.
So
definitely.
The email is health-centered counselling.
Yeah. Do you want me to? Okay. It's just
health-centered CO.
Do you want to cut and paste it from the link from your email, or we can? It's a really long one.
That would mean I have to go over. Hang on, I'll go on my phone. I won't cut and paste it, but I can copy it off of there.
You can do it now. I can do it later.
Yeah. So she's in the eastern. Where are we? Eastern suburb? No, we're not. We're southeast. Bayside-ish.
Yes, Bayside. But with modern technology, everyone accesses counselling remote. A lot of people access counselling remotely.
Yeah, so you do that as well.
I do both because most people find it a lot more convenient, and people don't want to travel outside of work if they've got families, they've got commitments. It takes time. So I do both, depending on people's preferences.
Why does your email not come up? There it is. Okay. So I'm just going to put this in here. Anything else people need to know about that? SELLING. You got the 4 1s. That's my good luck number.
I think that's everyone's. It was a bit of a cliche.
Oh, it's everyone's.
I just had to put a number to get that email account.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, it's either 111 or 222 for some people. Health-centered. Have I spelled that right?
Heart-centered counselling.
Sorry, heart. God, sorry.
No, that's okay. It's not. Yeah.
Not health. Yeah.
But health is a good one.
Have I put? It's not very good viewing for people. Me doing this heart-centered counselling there. Okay, so if you want to get hold of Siba, can't promote Melbourne. Why not? Yes, we can. Melbourne's had an awful rough time, and that's the thing. It actually does have good points, and we still got summer, so I don't know where you're living.
Yes,
it took a long time. Well, unless there's anything else anyone wants to ask, we don't really have to continue. But if you want to get hold of Siba, there's her email. Hopefully I've done it right.
Yes, you have. Just saw it.
No, I haven't. No, I've got rid of. I've lost the C.
Oh, the C. Yeah.
Do it again. HEARTCENTRE. COU. Get hold of her by email, or you can contact me 1111. Sorry. And yeah, keep on there. Okay. Thank you very much for coming on today, and I'm sure I'll see you in the park somewhere or on the beach.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you for everyone contributing.
Yeah, just talking. And we'll be back next Monday, but I might put some things in between. Got to move my brain to my film now.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, no, thanks. See you soon. Okay, bye-bye, everyone. I am not just a product made to satisfy the pocket, nor do I require the same fame others seek. I desire your heart, the passions that make you a woman, any woman, every woman. My scents are a representation of purpose, courage, confidence, each botanical ingredient a praise of thanksgiving and self-care. The way I feel upon your flesh, a comfort of nourishment, as I feed dehydrated and depleted layers of skin, bursting for a new life of regrowth and youthfulness. If I stir your soul with each application, let it be known that you, too, are an intimate duet woman.